Hi, my name is Isabel. Today we're talking about voter contact. Voter contact is all of the ways that you talk to people who might be voting for you. So to make sure that they know your message, why you're running, what you're running for, and also just so that they know your name, which they need to know to be able to vote for you. There are two types of sort of categories of how we talk to voters. One is field, which is the word that we use to refer to talking directly to voters person to person. So knocking on their doors or making phone calls or meeting at your local farmer's market. And the other is paid media, which is mail that you would get from candidates or TV ads or ads on social media or other digital ads. One of the first steps is going to be figuring out who your voters are. You're going to want to get the voter file, which is a list of the registered voters in whatever district you're running for. You can get that through the state or local party. You can use a software called Van, but you can also just get a list of all of the registered voters in like a spreadsheet from a local election authority. And that list is going to guide you in figuring out who are the registered voters, who are the consistent voters. If you're running in a primary, who are the people who vote in a primary. And once you know who your voters are, that will give you some information to decide how you want to talk to them. Because you're the strongest messenger as the candidate, spending time building your volunteer base is super important. So hosting house parties, doing outreach to people that you know and talking to them about doing outreach to people that they know, and finding places where people who share your ideas and values might be gathering and being able to reach them there. Once you start bringing in volunteers, it's going to be really important to keep them engaged. There are tools that you can use for volunteer management, but the most important thing is just being consistently in contact with volunteers, making sure that they have a good experience being part of your team, and expressing appreciation, making sure that people know that they're really a fundamental part of what you're doing. Campaigns cannot happen without volunteers, and it's really important that people know that when they're volunteering because you're asking for a lot. Early in your campaign, it's really important to have a clear vision of who you're talking to and the ways that you're going to talk to them. The plan is going to change throughout your campaign. It's not going to be the same. You're going to realize things that work and things that don't work, but you need to have that like baseline architecture to go off of and make sure that you're being thoughtful about who you're reaching. Part of reaching out to voters is showing that you're accessible, you're part of their community, and that when you are representing them at any level of government, that you're going to continue to be someone that they can reach out to and be in contact with. There are lots of ways to talk to voters. You're not going to necessarily use all of them. You're not going to reach every voter with every method, but it's important to layer multiple methods so you can reach people more than once. Again, lots of ways to do it. Some of the best ones are knocking on people's doors, so you're going to use that list of voters and go talk to them, ring their doorbell. Making phone calls, again, using that same list. It'll have phone numbers associated with it, going through calling people. What's called high traffic canvassing, so out at train stops in the morning, out at big public events, holiday, festival type things. Hosting your own events is another great way. And then what's called relational outreach, so like as you're bringing those volunteers in and you're building your supporter base, having those people reach out to the people in their network as that trusted messenger. You can also text people. That's called peer-to-peer texting a cold outreach. There are lots of tools that you can use to do that. You can write postcards or dear neighbor letters and send those to the addresses that you have from the voter file or to the people that you've already spoken with as a follow-up. It's a nice personal touch. Paid media is a big category. It's all of the ways that you're talking to people that aren't directly person to person. So TV ads, if you're running in a race that's bigger and higher budget. Direct mail is a great way of reaching to people. So similar to the flyers that you'd be handing out on the street, send them to people who are registered to vote in your district. And then digital ads, it's a newer one. It changes all the time. It's a little bit hard to navigate, but a really good way to reach certain audiences and be really targeted. When you're running for office, ultimately the thing that you're trying to do is make sure that voters know who you are and know to vote for you. There's no other way to do it. There aren't any shortcuts. You just have to talk to as many people as you possibly can. Personally, I love field. That is where my heart is. There's nothing that can replace person-to-person contact, but you do have to be thoughtful. You have to figure out what makes sense for your district. You have to reach out to people in lots of different ways, meet people where they're at.